Somehow I keep jacking my camera up every day. So, good evening. It is April 28th. Tonight we are going to be reading Judges 8:18 through 9:21, Luke 23:44 through 24:12, Psalms 99 1 through 9, and Proverbs 14 9 through 12. 9 through 10, excuse me. So, every night we like to do the Lord's Prayer. So, if you will, join in with me. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. Forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, the glory forever and ever. Amen. Judges 8:18 through 9:21. He, Gideon, then addressed Zebah and Zalmunna. Tell me about the men you killed at Tabor. They were much men like you. They said, each one like a king's son. Gideon said, they were my brothers, my mother's sons. As God lives, if you had let them live, I would let you live. Then he spoke to Jether, his firstborn. Get up and kill them. But he couldn't do it. Couldn't draw his sword. He was afraid. He was still just a boy. Zebah and Zalmunna said, do it yourself if you're man enough. And Gideon did it. He stepped up and killed Zebah and Zalmunna. Then he took the crescents that hung on the necks of their camels. The Israelites said, rule over us, you and your son and your grandson. You have saved us from the Midian's tyranny. Gideon said, I most certainly will not rule over you, nor will my son. God will reign over you. Then Gideon said, but I do have one request. Give me, each of you, an earring that you took as plunder. Ishmaelites wore gold earrings, and the men all had their pockets full of them. They said, of course, they're yours. They spread out on a blanket, and each man threw his plundered earrings on it. The gold earrings that Gideon had asked for weighed about 43 pounds, and that didn't include the crescents and the pendants. The purple robes worn by the Midianite kings and the ornaments hung around their necks of their camels. Gideon made the gold into a sacred ephod and put it on display in his hometown Ophrah. All Israel prostituted itself there. Well, Gideon and his family too were seduced by it. Midian's tyranny was broken by the Israelites. Nothing more was heard from them. The land was quiet for 40 years in Gideon's time. Jerubbaal, son of Joash, went home and lived in his house. Gideon had several sons. He fathered them all. He had a lot of wives. His concubine, the one at Shechem, also bore his son. He named him Amalek. Gideon, son of Joash, died at a good old age. He was buried in the tomb of his father Joash and Ophrah of the Abizarites. Gideon was hardly cool in the tomb when the people of Israel had gotten off track and were prostituting themselves to Baal. They made Baal of the covenant their god. The people of Israel forgot all about God, their God, who saved them from all their enemies, who had hemmed them in, and they didn't keep faith with all the family of Jerubbaal or Gideon, honoring all that good he had done for Israel. Amalek, son of Jerubbaal, went to Shechem to his uncles and all his mother's relatives and said to them, ask all the leading men of Shechem, what do you think is best? The 70 men rule you, all those sons of Jerubbaal, or that one man rule? You'll remember that I am your own flesh and blood. His mother's relatives reported that the proposal of the leaders of Shechem. They were inclined to take Amalek because they said, he is, after all, one of us. They gave him 70 silver pieces from the shrine of Baal of the covenant. With that money, he hired some reckless riffraff soldiers, and they followed along after him. He went to his father's house in Ophrah and killed his half-brothers, the sons of Jerubbaal, 70 men, and one on the stone. The youngest, Jotham, son of Jerubbaal, managed to hide, the only survivor. Then all the leaders of Shechem and Beth Milo gathered at the oak by the standing stone of Shechem and crowned Amalek king. When this was all told to Jotham, he climbed to the town of Mount Gerizim, raised his voice and shouted, listen to me, leaders of Shechem, and let God listen to you. The trees set out one day to to anoint a king for themselves. And they said to Olive Tree, "Rule over us." But Olive Tree told them, "I am no longer good for making oil. That gives God, that gives glory to gods and men to be demoted to waving over trees." The trees then said to Fig Tree, "You come to rule over us." But Fig Tree said to them, "I am no longer good for making sweets. My mouth watering sweet fruits, and to be demoted to waving over trees." The trees then said to Vine, "You come and rule over us." But Vine said to them, "Am I no longer good for making wine? Wine that cheers gods and men, and be demoted to waving over trees." All the trees then said to Tumbleweed, "You come and reign over us." But Tumbleweed said to the trees, "If you're serious about making me your king, come and find shelter in my shade. But if not, let fire shoot from Tumbleweed and burn down the cedars of Lebanon." Now listen, do you think you did a right and honorable thing when you made Amalek king? Do you think you treated Jerubbaal and his family well, did for him what he deserved? My father fought for you, risked his own life, and rescued you from Midian's tyranny, and you have just now betrayed him. You massacred his sons, 70 men on a single stone. You made Amalek the son by his maid servant king over Shechem's leaders because he's your relative. If you think that this is an honest day's work, this way you have treated Jerubbaal today, then enjoy Amalek and let him enjoy you. But if not, let fire break from Amalek and burn up the leaders of Shechem and Beth Milo. And let fire break from the leaders of Shechem and Beth Milo and burn up Amalek. And Jotham fled. He ran for his life. He went to Beer and settled down there because he was afraid of his brother Amalek. Breakdown Judges 8:18 through 9:21. Power without character destroys. Gideon finishes what he started. He executes the kings who killed his brothers. Justice is served, but things go sideways. His son Amalek wants power, not purpose. He murders 70 of his own brothers to become king. Pure ambition with zero integrity. Jotham's parable, trees choosing a king, is the mic drop. When good men won't lead, worthless men will. Been a part of that in the past. If you don't rule your character, your ambition will rule over you. It'll cost people their lives. Luke 23:44 through 24:12. By now it was noon. The whole earth became dark, the darkness lasting 3 hours, a total blackout. The temple curtain split right down the middle. Jesus called out loudly, "Father, I place my life in your hands." Then he breathed his last breath. When the captain there saw what happened, he honored God. This man was innocent, a good man and innocent. All who had come around as spectators to watch the show, when they saw what actually happened, were overcome with grief and headed home. Those who knew Jesus well, along with the women who had followed him from Galilee, stood at the respectful distance and kept vigil. There was a man by the name of Joseph, a member of the Jewish High Council, a man of good heart and good character. He had not gone along with the plans and actions of the council. His hometown was the Jewish village of Arimathea, or Arimathea. He lived in alert expectation of the kingdom of God. He went to Pilate and asked for the body of Jesus. Taking him down, he wrapped him in a linen shroud and placed him in the tomb chiseled into the rock, a tomb never yet used. It was the day before the Sabbath just about to begin. The women who had been champions of Jesus from Galilee followed along. They saw the tomb where Jesus' body was placed. Then they went back to prepare burial spices and perfumes. They rested quietly on the Sabbath as commanded. At the crack of dawn on Sunday, the women came to the tomb carrying the burial spices they had prepared. They found the entrance stone rolled back from the tomb, so they walked in. But once inside, they couldn't find the body of the Master Jesus. They were puzzled, wondering what to make of this. Then, out of nowhere, it seemed two men, light cascading over them, stood there. The women were awestruck and bowed down in worship. The men said, "Why are you looking for the living one in a cemetery? He is not here, but raised up. Remember how he told you when you were still back in Galilee that he would be handed over to sinners, be killed on a cross, and 3 days rise up?" Then they remembered Jesus' words. They left the tomb and broke the news of all of this to the 11 and the rest of Mary Magdalene, Joanna, Mary, the mother of James, and the other women with them kept telling these things to the apostles, but the apostles didn't believe a word of it, though they thought they were making it up. But Peter jumped to his feet and ran to the tomb. He stooped to look in and saw a few grave clothes. That's all. He walked away puzzled, shaking his head. Breakdown of Luke 23:44 through 24:12. It's finished, but not over. Jesus dies, darkness comes over the land. The curtain in the temple tears across. Access to God is now open. Everyone thinks it's over, but Sunday flips everything. The tomb isn't empty. Angels say he's not here, he's risen. The women believe, the men hesitate. Peter runs to go check. The lesson here: what looks like defeat in your life might be the setup for resurrection. God doesn't end stories in the grave. Man, that's good. I am ready for the resurrection. Psalms 99, 1 through 9. God rules on your toes. Everybody he rules from his angel throne, take notice. God looms majestic in Zion. He towers in splendor over all the big names. Great and terrible your beauty, let everyone praise you. Holy, yes, holy. Strong King, lover of justice. You laid things out fair and square. You set down the foundation in Jacob. Foundation stones or just and right ways. Honor God your God, worship his rule. Holy, yes, holy. Moses and Aaron were his priests. Samuel among those who prayed to him. They prayed to God and he answered them. He spoke from the pillar of cloud, and they did what he said. They kept the law he gave them. And then God, our God, answered them. But you never soft on their sins. Lift high God, our God, worship at his holy mountain. Holy, yes, holy is God, our God. The breakdown of Psalms 99, 1 through 9. God isn't your buddy, he's your king. This psalm hits different. God is holy, powerful, and just. He answers prayer, but he also disciplines. 3 times it says he is holy. The lesson here: don't get so casual with God that you lose reverence. He's Yes, he's loving, but he's still the king on the throne. Proverbs 14, 9 and 10. The stupid ridicule right and wrong, but a moral life is a favored life. The person who shuns the bitter movements the person who shuns the bitter moments of friends will be an outsider at their celebrations. Breakdown of Proverbs 14, 9 and 10. Sin lies and pain is personal. Fools laugh at sin. It doesn't seem like a big deal, but wise people know sin always collects. Also, your heart carries things nobody else fully understands: your pain, your struggles, your battles. The lesson: do not play with sin. It's not harmless, and don't expect everyone to understand your journey. Walk it with God. I think we all have that problem every once in a while. We expect everybody to join our journey with us, and that's not the way things are supposed to go. So, if no one told you today, I love you. I appreciate you. Have a better than good night. I appreciate you jumping on. We will be back on tomorrow. It'll be April 29th. I love you. I love you. I love you. And we'll see you tomorrow night. Short and sweet tonight.